Hey, welcome back to Rob's Garage. Today I've picked up a Bosch 12-inch dual bevel glide miter saw. So it's a compound miter. This is their axial glide system. I've been wanting one of these saws forever, and I wanted to save up money before I bought it, but eventually I just had to cave and buy it. Um, so anyway, we're gonna unbox this, and I'm gonna show you the saw. So we're gonna open her up. The reason that I haven't bought one of these for a long time was I had a radial arm saw, so I really didn't need one. And then when we moved, I got rid of the radial arm saw. So let's see if we can get this out. Wow, my goodness. There is a manual that's taped in. Wow, this packaging is fantastic. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I should be able to take this out. Okay, they've got all this crisscrossed cardboard, really well packaged. Let's see how I can take this all out here. Okay, I put my side cutters. Okay. Down is the saw. So I'm going to take this down and then we'll lift the saw out. Oh, she's heavy too. Oh, yeah. Okay. My goodness, I wouldn't want to have to take this back. Okay. What a monster. Wow. And then down at the bottom is just the styrofoam. Just one piece of styrofoam. So this is it. And, oops. Let's see here. Alright. Oh, good, the blade's on it. That's nice. So, there is, like, hold on. Let's unhook all this stuff first. Okay. This is nice. They've got a little Velcro wire strap here. And hold on to your cord. Keep it out of the way when you're moving this. This has a companion stand that I didn't buy because it's like another $350. But I think it would be not a bad option. There should be another handle for this, should there not? Let's find that. Okay. There we go. Oh, what a monster. So, oh, and there is a piece of foam here. How do we get that out? Alright. So there's a release lock. Oh, that's neat. That locks it into place. I'm going to have to check the manual for all these little releases and things. But this is it. See how, I don't know if you get a really good view here. I'll do an up close. That part of the saw. This is what this saw is all about. This animal right here. So you'll see your saw. Where's my tape measure? Your saw from the cutting edge to your back wall is 13 and a quarter inches. So So 13 1/4 inches is your space. Now, most of your saws have that 13 1/4 inch space, and then they have another 12 inches of travel or 10 inches of travel. And this saw, when it comes down, it slides out. It has these two, they call this the axial glide. It's basically a series of hinges, and it's super smooth, really nice to use. Yeah, and they're supposed to be more accurate as well, which is nice. And they don't get clogged up with sawdust and things quite as readily. So anyway, we'll have to check out the manual here and see what all this stuff does. Alright, let's start with the assembly. So right here we have the bevel. So we have a handle. You have a 10 mil washer. So you put the 10 mil washer on right there. Put the handle on. Now you'll see it's squared off for the lock, so you gotta fit that on. And then the 6 mm washer, and then the 6 mm locking nut. So you put that on. Now, there is, at the back, right over here, you'll find this Allen key, and it's like a double-ended Allen key. It's got a different end up there. That's locked here. So you pull that out, and it comes with, oh, it's so heavy. And it comes with this animal here, and it's got a little 6 mm socket on it there. So what you do is you tighten that up a little bit until you can't tighten it anymore, and then you put your Allen key through it, and you tighten it until it's good and tight. Alright, and that's your miter lock. Okay, so miter lock. Now, they call these travel locks or mechanism locks, and here's one right here. This is a travel lock, so that keeps your axial glide mechanism from moving. Okay, so this guy right here, you push it in, that keeps it down, it locks it down, and then when you open it up, bring it up like that. Okay, so there's your two device locks. This guy right here is the depth stop gauge, so you can pull this like this way, and then the screw right here, you can adjust that so that it stops the depth of your blade. You can adjust that so that that can be higher. So I'm not sure what you would use that for. Maybe if you're cutting like some rabbits or something, you can cut it that way. That's pretty neat. I didn't think I was going to be able to do that on this saw, but maybe I will. That's neat. And then when you don't want to use it, you just push that back in, out of the way, and you can also unscrew that a bit as well. It does fit nicely in the hole when you're not using it. Now, also the cover on this, the cover has these little wheels, and it gets right down to your workpiece, and then you roll it on the wheels, and it just makes for a nice little safety feature. Another thing that you have to assemble is your miter lock. So this is your bevel lock, this is your miter lock knob. You put that in here, and you just kind of put it in, and then when it's tight, the miter won't move at all. So you loosen it off when you want to move it. You grab it by the bottom here, there's a little lever. You grab that lever, and then you can move this. Now, if you want it to land into the detents, there's a couple of different detents here. And there's one at 90 degrees, one at 25.5 degrees, one at 15 degrees, one at 90 degrees, so 0 basically. And then, where else? 30 degrees, 45 degrees, and then it has a couple other things that are mentioned on here, like 35.3, probably for like crown molding and stuff. Oh, yeah. You lift up on here, push the lever down, that locks it so that it doesn't stop at the detents. And then if you want to lock it at any other spot, you can just push up on this, move it over, and say you want like 10 degrees or something, you can use this handle here and you can lock it in place and then it won't move at all. Right? You undo it, bring it over. Okay. Now the miter lock, or sorry, the bevel lock. So when you pull this all the way up, and it's stiff, believe me, it's tight. Move that all the way up. You can move your bevel. And then if you want to move your bevel, so that's to the left, right? If you want to move it to the right, there's another auxiliary knob that you have to turn. So you push it over a little bit like this, turn that, and then you can bring it all the way over, right? All the way to 45 degrees on both sides. Okay. Now, another thing that we have way at the back here, this is your bevel detent lock. So you turn it one way and it locks at certain detents. Alright, and then you'd lock it in place if you wanted to, but you have to pull on it to unlock it, and then it's kind of spring loaded, so it'll lock in at like your first detent, which is 33.9 degrees, and then at 45 it actually has a secondary stop, so which can be adjusted as well. So if you want that off so it doesn't lock in the detents, you just grab it and turn it. Let me just show you that. It's got a little stop on it, so you grab it and you turn it like this, and that's your detents on. Turn it this way, it's detents off. Okay. This is your work support clamp that fits back in here. So it's got like this knurled end. You just drop it in here, and when you have it cranked down, it's like a friction fit, and then it goes on a bit of an angle and it locks itself into place, and then you can't pull it up. You normally wouldn't use this, but I think what it will be good for is if you're going to put in like a stop block. Saw to cut like 2 inches, so you put your stop block in, you set that up, crank that on so it doesn't move, and then you can repeat your cuts. So you bring this in, cut it, right, and then move it over, do your next cut, you know, and you can repeat it over and over again so that you get the exact same measurement. So this is a stop block, so you can use this for that. That's probably all I'll ever use it for. So now that it has a purpose for me, I'll probably keep it. Most people don't ever use those. Okay, it has a little dust bag. So let's move that out of the way. Right here, this thing you can take off and put on a new one if it gets all chewed up. You can also put on auxiliary fence on this. There's some holes here. You can put the fence on. You want a bigger fence or something a little different. This is your sawdust bag. It helps a little bit. It's not real fine, so a lot of the fine dust will escape, and it's just got these little cams on here. So you put it on and you twist it and it locks in place, and then you can move this around a little bit, right? Bottom stabilizing bolt. There's a bolt way down here. It's like a little foot, and that's to stabilize the front of this so that you can adjust this. So if you're going to put on a surface that it's going to stay on, you can adjust that so that it doesn't lean forward when you put weight on it. So when you put weight on it like this, this doesn't tilt down. Alright, just more support, which is good. Oh yeah, sliding fences. So there's these little knobs here. Pull that, you can slide the fence. You can extend it out just for, work support. You can slide that out and move it around, then lock it back in place. And then over here, this is your sliding table extensions. You unlock that over here, and you can move this out, and it extends it. 8 inches. So it gives you an extra 8 inches. But that's better than nothing. Oh, also with this, you can put on a vacuum attachment if you wanted. So if you have it set up in your shop, like I will have this set up in my shop later, I'll put a vacuum on this. And I'll probably put one back in here somewhere too. I'm sure I'll figure out a cool way of doing that. Okay, I think I've covered everything with the saw. It's the Cadillac when it comes to compound miter saws. It's really nice. Alright, so this is an initial review. I've used the saw for a few days now. I really, really love it. It's super smooth. It's really quiet. It has a belt drive, which I think really contributes to its quietness. It's great to operate. All the controls are up front, which is nice. You don't have to go to the back to adjust your compound miter cuts or anything like back here. It's up at the front, which is nice. Now, you're going to see a lot of people review these and say that they're not accurate, but when you buy one of these saws, you really should set it up properly, and there's an extensive setup in the manual on how to do that, and you should really follow it in order as well. I've had a radial arm saw for years, and you really have to adjust it properly, and if you screw something up, then it'll burn the wood basically. Another thing, make sure that if you cut things like laminate flooring or whatever, it really does destroy your blade. So if you put a crappy blade on it, it's not gonna perform all that well. And if you destroy your blade, it's not going to perform all that well. Okay, a couple of things here. Maintenance. There's no maintenance really required on these except for the setup, and it says to inspect the brushes every 6 months, which is funny. It has the belt drive, which you should inspect periodically. This saw is really big and really heavy. It's not easily portable, so if you are a contractor and you're going from job to job, this may not be the saw for you. I think this saw is more suited for workshop use. Now, you can move it around. It's portable, but it's not as portable. It's not as light. And, you don't need this fancy axial glide system if you're out on a job site, right? This is really well suited to small workshops where you need the space. Alright. What else is there? Oh, there's no laser. Some people are really upset by the laser. Now, I always put the saw down and I basically put the blade kerf beside my work, beside my line, so I can see exactly where it is, because I find that the lasers tend to be not very accurate to begin with. So I would probably disable the laser myself if I was, using them. I do have some tools with lasers, and other than my circular saw that has one, I don't really like them on anything else. So, what else is there? Okay. Now, your length of cut with this, your actual usable length of cut is... it's about 14 inches. So, you can cut about 14 inches on that saw, which is, fairly... Yeah, this one is really only 5.5. So, it's over twice the cutting capacity with your slide. And the bigger blade. So we've got the 10-inch Delta, which has been a great saw for me, and I will still use this, when I need a portable saw. I'll probably still use this. But this guy is mainly for my workshop. Alright? Like I say, you can make it portable, but it's a big beast, it's heavy, and you don't want to really knock it out of alignment, right? Here we go. Here's like a typical noise difference between the two. Right? Brake seems to be slow on that. And this one has a lock. So it's much quieter. You still hear the induction, or sorry, the universal motor, but it is much quieter to use. Yeah, anyway, I think that's it. I really enjoy it. It's got a lot of cool features. I hope I've covered everything for you guys. If you have questions, feel free to post them. I'll try to get to answer them as much as possible. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a good time in the workshop. Cheers.